Hit record. Let's
How
go.
you listen to him? He ain't even on our show.
He's literally on the show right now.
But I'm the podfather,
He
though.
works with me every week.
But here's the deal. I'm the podfather. Like, I've done a lot of this shit.
I like that talk.
No, man, Matt is out of here.
I will say this because you got
nobody going on someone else's show and saying I'm your daddy.
You got to give people their flowers up. But it'll be September. It'll be 9 years since I've been at Complex. Before I was working at Complex, I was working at that shitty job. It was Emilio Sparks' experience is what I was listening to, trying to get through the bullshit of the day. That's what it was.
Me and Ben gonna have our own shit going.
You can have them.
Y'all three motherfuckers is bullshit.
Yeah, you're gonna call it queefing. That's what it's gonna be called. The queef cast.
What's wrong with that?
Just call it. Just take him. He's all yours. You can have him.
What's wrong with that?
All right.
Just have him.
What's wrong with being called the queef?
I'll be queef you mighty Vin. You can have
There
him.
you go.
Shout out to me and Vin.
In my last will and testament, Math can have mighty Vin.
Facts.
Now, before we get into anything, I was thinking about this today, and something Spark said earlier off
Be
recording. No. It was around that conversation. I don't think it's true, but I like saying it, so I'm going to say it anyway. Now, Vin and Emilio, we do a lot of rapper equivalents. You know, if anybody's been following Wrassle Rap for years, I mean, that was a conversation on the timeline a while ago. We've been picking it back up, for months now. And this morning I was washing the dishes, listening back to what was going on Dynamite, and I was wondering, is Jon Moxley the Eminem?
Yes. I don't even gotta. Where Jon Moxley meets Eminem, absolutely.
No, I didn't think it all the way through because I was like, I don't know.
What other white rappers are you going to put? Are you going to put them Copyright? You're going to say where Jon Moxley meets Copyright?
It's also no other wrestling podcast is going to name drop Copyright. Is all I'm saying.
Hold on, because we're saying that Eminem is the greatest white rapper.
You're saying it.
No, I didn't say that at all.
That has been said before, but Jon Moxley was what was his number on the
there's a difference between rhyming and rapping.
What? But this is my thing though, Vin. This is why I said it.
Let's get the fuck out of here, Vin. They don't appreciate.
They about to start their own shit. No, because I don't want to say I hate Eminem. I just don't care. Like I've not cared.
Well, I get exactly what you mean because he'll do that thing where he'll rattle off a bunch of rhymes in a row, and it's like, look at me, I'm really impressed. It's like, yeah, but you're not telling a story. There's nothing behind it. It's like you're telling nursery rhymes. Like, you know, even looking back at, you know, Eminem from 20 years ago, like even though it was better than whatever he's doing now, like it's a lot of the same BS.
Yeah.
Like it's him going around in a circle, not necessarily, you know, going out and you know, exploring everything that he could. Which is what people wanted back then, so I can't, you know, knock him for it. But to say that
Kevin.
No, I was gonna say I think the Moxley comparison. Is accurate to an extent. I think
for right now,
I think there's two Moxleys right now. There's the AEW Moxley, which we're seeing a lot more of, and then there's the New Japan Moxley. And which we have not really seen in about a year. Right. He had that match with Kenta, but really, like if you look at the NJPW Moxley run in the G1,
hey, man, don't say no more. Don't say no more. Don't give him no more. They don't deserve this.
He wants Vin to save all this for the demo of their podcast. That's what it is.
That's what it is. But you got to think of it. Well, of course. But listen, there's a reason why Jon Moxley, to me, and I've said this on Wrassle Rap, and I'll say it on here now as well. Jon Moxley is the most influential and or important professional wrestler in the last 2 years. Here's why. Because Jon Moxley elevated the AEW championship. Jon Moxley was also the bridge that you needed to fuel what Kenny Omega and Tony Khan wanted to put into play. So without Jon Moxley, you don't get the Good Brothers in. You don't get Kenta to come to Jacksonville. You don't get Jon Moxley to go to AEW Strong and defend the IWGP United States Championship against Kenta, which was a storyline that was 1 year in the making. So you don't get that. So you can say what he did is comparable to, the 8 Mile era of Eminem, where he wins a pinnacle in Academy of Arts and Science, where he wins an Oscar. So yeah, you can say that is, I don't think in terms of other white rappers, he's not an Asher Roth, he's not a Macklemore, right? He's not a Hoodie Allen, he's not a Vinnie Paz. This is a dude that when it's all said and done will go down in history for the 3 years that he has now. Jon Moxley's doing the best work later in his life. Now, we can say that the subject matter of what Eminem's talking about ain't our cup of tea anymore because maybe we've aged out of it, but you can't discredit what he's doing lyrically because right now, lyrically, M is as sharp as he's ever been. And there are a lot of...
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
Go back and listen to fucking, the last 4 albums. Are some tracks filler? Yes, but the songs that he's actually really spitting his ass off, M's really coming to it, and he really has a new lease on life. It really happened once he started to get clean and sober. Because the music that you might be basing your Eminem slander on, and I'm not saying I'm the biggest M fan. I'm not. But what I'm saying is you might be basing the work rate on stuff that you heard when he was really, really depressed and in his bag when it came to narcotics.
And dope.
Of course. But when he was into what he was into, but now that he's clean, he's been spitting some of the hardest shit. And again, you might get it in dribs and drabs and in spurts, but what you're getting, you have to appreciate. So what you're seeing with Jon Moxley now, you have to appreciate what he's doing because you're looking at the Dean Ambrose run. That might be the stuff where it was like when M was on the
I don't have to appreciate anything.
I think you have to. No, you have to. If
you can't tell me what to appreciate. You can play it out. You can put it out there, but I don't have to say. I don't have to appreciate shit.
No, you have to because if you're a fucking pundit in music and professional wrestling, and you're trying to make the two fit together because that's what you're trying to do. This is what this is. You're trying to bridge the gap. So if you're trying to do that to make it work, well, you have to come with actual factuals. And the actual factual is Eminem might not have been great when he was doing all the druggy rap because he was in a different place.
He was great. He was great.
That's your opinion.
He's a great rapper.
You know what? I would have to let me go dust these weed plates off that he's been releasing and then listen to them shit.
What?
Because these is dirt. I don't care what you. I don't give a fuck what you talking, Sparks.
Lock him under the CD store. Well, my thing was, does Eminem have like what would? And y'all gonna kill me because every time me, Math, and Fam have this conversation, like, "How you going too far? You going too deep?" But like, does Eminem have a Shield era? That's where I got hung up on it, and I kind of eased back off the conversation.
I guess
is
12
the Shield.
No,
that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
is Bizarre Roman Reigns?
No, Eminem. Here's Eminem's Shield era. This is Eminem's Shield.
Rolling Reigns.
Slim Shady LP 1999, Marshall Mathers LP 2000, Eminem Show 2002. That's his Shield.
Shield.
That's his Shield era.
Okay.
Wait, one more time.
Slim Shady LP 1999.
That's one.
Marshall Mathers LP.
Are we going
2000.
1 through 3?
And no, well, if you want to count Infinite,
we're going the big hits.
But we're talking about the major label debut.
Yeah, we're not counting that one.
Okay,
Infinite so says Indie Days. Johnny Black, whatever his name was.
Yeah, but so I like Infinite. I thought Infinite was the testing ground to what you have now. If you want to go down, right, then there was Encore, which was trash. Encore was trash, right? So Encore, Relapse, not good. He was sick. He was on his shit. Then you get Recovery. Okay, Recovery starts to come back. Marshall Mathers LP2. Now you're starting to get it. His head's starting to get clear, right? Revival. Okay, cool. Kamikaze. He had some shit on Kamikaze. Music to what is it?
Music to murder people by?
Some shit. He had some shit on that. He had some shit on that. I never listened.
I listened to Kamikaze. I think the problem is no, I did. I listened to Kamikaze and the
we had to play the fuck out of it on Shade, so I heard it up and down.
I didn't. I didn't listen to the last. I remember listening to Kamikaze because I was on vacation and it was like,
you listened to that on vacation?
I that Friday, it was all on my timeline. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? But I only gave it the one listen because I didn't like it, and I never listened to the last one. But that's been the thing. It's like it's too many fucking songs, and like Sparks is saying, he's spitting some shit, but it's interspersed throughout
all over the place
the album. So, and I would much rather hear 5 or 6 really dope Eminem songs than see Eminem in a death match, exploding ring match.
That's the thing, is he's established enough where that's all his albums are really going to be now. Is like, you know, you're going to have like a couple songs that maybe resonate,
they've always been like
but
that.
It's going to be
like that.
But right, but I'm saying like eventually you get to a place where that's all you can produce. Like, you're not going to get, unless you really refine what you're doing, you're not going to get an album where it's like, you know, a really well crafted, you know, 9 or 10 tracks.
Yeah, but the songs that he's doing, or some of the songs that he chooses to really go in on, he has refined himself as a lyricist. Where it's no longer,
does he resonate culturally though?
Scooby Doo Wop and Christopher Reeve, Sonny Bono skis horses and hitting some trees. Right. He doesn't need to do that anymore. He's not. It's not.
No, but I'm saying like where is his culture
anymore?
But that's what I'm saying.
He solidified his fucking spot. Eminem is going to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He solidified his spot.
Well, yeah, because he's white. Like,
I'm going to be honest. I'm glad you said it, man. I'm going to be honest, but I'm glad you said it.
What
obviously, let's address the elephant in the room.
I know he's going to go in because he's a white rapper and he's a very popular white rapper, and people are going to go, "Oh, look at all the boundaries he broke." It's like,
well,
okay, you can
not really.
What Eminem should do right now with the rest of his career is put out themed EPs.
Rapping.
He should put out themed EPs for like 4 to 5 song joints with either one producer, or certain content, like the same type of songs. Yeah.
No,
I don't. I see, but all right. So I want to know what is your definition, or how do you want your Eminem? You know what I mean? Like, do you want the 1999 Eminem? I seen him in the Lane Theater in 1998. Do you want that still? I don't want
any of it.
Eminem didn't. He didn't.
That's the correct answer from me, Vin.
But there is a fan base out there that still wants Eminem,
right? And he continued doing his rapping.
Missed the whole. The world passed him by.
Exactly.
Twice. It lapped him twice. But is that him? Or is that the circle in which he revolves in, where he keeps himself in the bubble, so the people that are also calling the shots are telling him this is the subject matter you should stay with?
The people that's telling him what he should are wrong.
I'm not saying, I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just saying, when you reach that type of level and you sold over 300 million records,
then you're in a bubble.
That's out the window.
You're out. You're in a bubble. You're in a bubble. So you're
somebody with that talent should never be in a bubble.
I think a lot of people with that talent get into a bubble. Michael Jackson was in the bubble. Prince was in the bubble. The Beatles were in a bubble.
But
the Beach Boys.
No. Here's the thing. You look at someone like Michael Jackson.
He was in a bubble.
In some of his later albums, he was always looking at the new talent and bringing them into his albums.
But he was still in a bubble.
What I'm saying is, you can be in a bubble, but still know what's going on outside.
Oh no, well that's the thing though. He probably does know what's going on. If you watch the fucking news, you got to know what's going on. There's no way he elevated.
Who's the last guy you heard where it was like, yeah, Eminem told me about this guy, and now he's on the top of the world?
What rappers have actually done that? How many other rappers have actually done that? How many?
Another rapper on to be a superstar?
How many? No, there's not all of them. How many actually legitimately do that?
Can we count Conway the Machine?
No,
I think Conway's but Conway came.
You telling me people didn't find out about Conway through the cosign?
Hell no.
I think some people did, but I don't think those people then turned into Griselda. I don't think they turned into Griselda fans though. Not like that. I don't think they're out there buying Benny's album because they saw that Conway was. I'm just saying, like, I don't think
Griselda's a brand.
I don't think that cosign does much for them because
on this podcast.
Look, I had the thought this morning. I wasn't going to say it, but you know,
I didn't wake up this morning thinking I'm going to got Black Rasslin tonight. We got my Eminem conversation ready.
But to turn it into Moxley, you can look at anything he did for the last 3 years in WWE and think it's Encore, and then fucking Relapse, and fucking whatever the other one was. Because
we can all agree Jon Moxley's better than Eminem. Okay,
right.
But you also
we don't all agree with that.
Yes, we do.
I think Jon Moxley is very, very important right now to what's going on in the landscape of professional wrestling. I think even the name recognition and the rebranding of what he's done is very, very important. There are a ton of guys that could have just went off the name strength and the resume and the drip of what he did in the WWE because the Shield did make so many waves so quickly. But now that you're seeing him break out on his own, and the man is bobbing and weaving. Ain't nobody going to tell me he ain't going to show up on Impact with Eddie Kingston and try to go for them Impact Tag Team Championships against the Good Brothers. Because if the Good Brothers are going to be on the same patties they beat down or whatever AEW is calling it next week, then you know that maybe they're going to show up there. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But
if
that is called
I'm going to be upset.
But that's called being an influencer. But why would you want to be upset, though? Don't you want every single platform that's not WWE to win?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you my reasoning. I'm a Jon Moxley fan. Well, I'm a Death Rider fan, right? I like to see Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, but I'm gonna be upset if they challenge for the titles because Private Party never challenged for the titles. That's one. But seeing them on Impact, I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. But I would like to see Private Party get their shot at the title.
And I think they need to do that, but also at the same time too, let's call a buck a buck.
100.
Who gives a fuck about Private Party to watch that on Impact?
100%.
Now you can do that. Now you can do that on, let's say, an AEW, an Impact pay-per-view. That's cool. But when it comes down to getting ratings and the dollar and cents and the fine line and all that analytical data at the end of the week, when people also start to account all the DVR stuff, you're gonna want Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley challenging the Good Brothers. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's get a little crazy here. Let's get the Good Brothers to win the AEW Tag Team Championships and have the Bucks chase that, because I think the Bucks are better at the chase. And then you have Kingston and fucking.
I think the Bucks have zero personality whatsoever.
The Bucks are Eminem.
The Bucks are great. The Bucks are great.
The Bucks stink.
The Bucks are great.
And I've talked to you about this many times.
Vin, take his mic, Vin. Go to his house.
Go to his house.
No. I got vaccinated. I can go to your house.
Well, I haven't gotten vaccinated, so you can
stay the hell
breathe
home.
On me yet. Stay the hell home.
But the Young Bucks, since they came into AEW, they've tried to a lot of them have tried to trade off this idea of, oh, well, you know us from Ring of Honor, from New Japan, from the Bullet Club. If you're someone who's come in cold and have just heard, oh, there's this new wrestling company and it's on a big network. Who are these Young Bucks guys? Oh, they may wow you with what they're doing. You may get won over by them. But I don't think it goes past that surface level. They have no character whatsoever. I can't tell if they're baby faces or heels because they try way too hard. And they try way too hard in their matches. So there's no defining character.
Come on in, man.
That's
the Black Rasslin.
That's Mav said he's about to trade in Drip for Vin. That's funny.
Really quick, fellas. I have a very, very serious question.
We're not starting the show.
We have to start it soon, though. We've already started, but we have to start.
Started this motherfucker.
Wait, the shows that we're not.
We haven't even we haven't played our intro. We've not introduced our guests. People know what's going on, but this
Davis
is
supposed to come in. He's not even here yet.
This is the cold open before the actual show. But
we've been rolling for 20 minutes.
I know, right?
Like, man, fuck this shit.
I love it. No, I love it. This is what we do. And this part will probably get clipped out and put up on the YouTube, and we'll have the whole show. I mean, you know what?
Oh my God, the producer in me. The producer.
I was gonna say Emilio's producing.
It's organized chaos over here. It's organized chaos.
Yeah, I don't want to produce.
Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to another action-packed card of All-Star Wrestling.
I'm gonna apologize now, Sparks, for how
Sparks was still
how discombobulated this is gonna be. But this is what we do.
Traffic.
Nah, I love it. I love it.
Intro was right. Like, y'all motherfuckers is 20 minutes late on this.
But guess what? That 20-minute conversation was hard though, right? But anyway. Niggas is back and niggas is black with our white squad here as well. As always, it's the Black Rasslin Podcast. Talk about it. Olive, what's good?
Wait. So Vin is the only non-nigga.
Damn.
You are drip.
You are drip. He is drip. As always, we're giving you wrestling. Shit. This week is wrestling from a rap perspective.
I like Emilio going on a black podcast and being like, well, I'm a little...
I'm silly. Don't worry about that. Dead. It's a wrap. It's with the Hogan X t-shirt on. It's your boy Cal. Representing rockthedub.com. But y'all already knew that. As you can see to my left and my right, the squad is on the line. Fam Mav, say what's good to the people, y'all.
Your IlFan790, your social media choice, aka non-editors of the podcast, is aka Fam Bigelow, aka Dangerous Fam Spivey.
I like that. Need a mullet now.
I bet my life I'm a dice shaker. It's BRP on the skyscraper.
True.
It's up and down for them real niggas. But you be lame all your life, hater. At Mav Damon.
I always be wanting to know who you talking about. Who's
Damon?
That? Name him. You got one of these weeks. You got to name him.
He's just talking to Davis.
I felt.
Oh no, we know I'm talking to Davis.
Davis is not here. Hopefully. I like to fuck. Hopefully. Hopefully. If Davis's night is going right, he's clapping some. He said he's got some company. So you take with that what you will. As you guys can see, if you've been watching 20-some minutes, listening 20-some minutes, we have got Mighty Vin and Emilio Sparks from the legendary Wrassle Rap Podcast in the building. It's been we linked up with you guys over the summer, right? And then you guys had Fam on, and I was like, damn, I want to get invited to some non-wrestling conversations at some point. Like, I have weeks where,
bitch, you talk to me all the time.
Yeah, I know. And how long are we talking about? It always goes back to wrestling. It's always Too Cold Scorpio. Yes, it does. It does. Yes, it does. It doesn't always go back to wrestling. No, you don't always like, yo.
We was just talking about some hoes.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Last thing you sent me was a prototype for some future shit. I don't know nothing about what you talking about right now.
It's comedy.
Right, but see, there's times where, you know what, and I'll tell Vin this, I'm not talking about wrestling this week.
It sucks. No, there are whole episodes recently where we've just been like, no wrestling this week.
I produce so many wrestling podcasts. That's the last thing I want to do is talk about wrestling.
Does wrestling suck? Does it suck?
No, I think it's oversaturated. I think we got way too much wrestling going on.
I don't know if it's oversaturated. I think it's oversaturated right now with not enough characters.
Well, wait.
Years ago, there was enough to go around, and now it's sort of like you look at NXT. Everyone's got the same look. They got the same, like oily hair and the black knee pads. The Young Bucks suck. We were talking about that before.
Facts.
I don't want to see Spanish flies and super kicks.
Well, you're gonna get them though. That's what you're gonna see every week.
That's what makes me tired of this shit. I don't want to see every big man doing a flying plancha, my nigga. I don't want to see that shit.
Well, that's the reason why I really stopped watching NXT. I don't watch it anymore. Like I'll speed through it on my DVR, but I'm not checking for it like I was doing in 2015.
Right.
Like that's when it was so unique and it was different and it was bright and it was colorful and it was something that was really different from the main roster because it was still a developmental and you had cats like Enzo Amore and Kaz really coming in and being characters and cutting these promos and really being something like from my high school. You know what I mean? Like, and I would tell Zoe this anytime I would see him. I was like, yo, you're an amalgamation of everybody that I went to high school, including me.
What does that word mean? What does amalgamation mean?
Like a combination of just like different like folks.
Next,
Emilio.
Also, that sounds horrible, by the way. An amalgamation of everyone I went to high school with.
No, it sounds
Sparks,
it's
Sparks.
just how it is.
Sparks. The next time he asks you what to define a word, no sell. Okay, don't give that man the time of day with that shit.
But it's true. Like, you look at a lot of what's going on now, and there's just not enough characters. People talk about, do the moves sell themselves, and it's like, no. Not when like you see fucking Dexter Lumis doing a Hurricane Rana. It's like I don't need to see like big men not doing big. It would be a shock if a big man came out and acted like a big man, and like someone threw a punch at them and they no-sold, and then they
no-sold and just chokeslammed them. Yeah,
fly shit is. I like Dexter Loom, like his character. I'm like, all right, I could get into the. You bugging, Sparks? Get him out of here.
Nah,
because the character says something.
What character is there?
What are you talking about? He's a
serial
killer.
What? He's wearing cool little gloves and a fucking apron?
That sounds like a serial killer to me.
I'm good on that. I mean, I need more than that. I want something different. Like, who was different at the time, and then they killed that off. They cut his balls off. Karrion Kross. The motherfucker was the devil incarnate. He had his blonde piece coming out, resurrecting him and chanting him, and then he was coming out.
Fair.
That's what, that was that was a character. No, now he's, I don't know. Now he's wearing chinos and coming out doing a face-to-face with Finn Balor. I don't know what that is.
You ever talk to somebody that worked at motherfucking J. Crew?
Maybe.
Serial killer.
Maybe.
Hey, how long Karrion Kross been Puerto Rican?
Wow. That's a good question.
I love this jumping. I love this.
That's a good question. I would ask Drip. Hopefully, Drip is in some cheeks right now, so he can't get the stat. Well, we're gonna have to compile a list of stats for Drip to come up with for next week.
Let's keep it funky. Think of it this way, though, right? And all the craziness that went down with him, and all the internet speculation or whatever. The last cool character that they had from soup to nuts, and you saw it from the build up to the rise to whatever, was Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
There was a pageantry, there was an interest, there was vignettes, there was promos, he had it. Now, granted, it got a little tiresome after a while because once you've been on the ride, it's the same ride over and over.
You got tired of it?
I got tired of it the moment he came out and did the Hulk Hogan thing twice. So he did it with the red and yellow.
Yeah,
I was tired of it then, right? Then it was overkill when he came out as Hollywood Dream, and he did it there. The last good time to me where the Dream was Pinnacle Dream was when he came out and wrestled Chris Hero, and he was in the boxing regalia, and the girl came out with the pillow with the mouthpiece.
Okay,
and he put it into his mouth.
So
that was, to me, that was the last.
That's why I like someone like Shotzi Blackheart. I think is a good
Shotzi
person in NXT. I think she has a lot of personality. She's fun. I think they have a little fun. This is wrestling. It's stupid.
But
we all know it's stupid.
But NXT takes itself too serious. That's the issue.
Now, yeah, 100%.
So what killed it?
AEW. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Television, commercials, and an extra hour.
So
2 hours till NXT.
So we know what Drip said.
What did Drip say?
Drip said it was Dream. Them going to.
It was the need to compete, because when it was just 1 hour, they could just focus on the creative, and they could go, okay, we're doing 1 hour a week. You would hear about, they would film things blocks in advance where they would basically have the whole next month planned out.
Right.
Can't do that anymore. Got to go week by week. Oh, AEW's doing, a special Beach Blast episode this week, so we got to do the Great American Bash. So now things get changed on the fly based on what the competition's doing. And now all of a sudden, your plans are going out the window.
Right. Well, do y'all think, I guess the question is, this week they're talking about NXT possibly moving to Tuesdays. Y'all think that's going to be a good look for them, even just taking out the head-to-head competition between them and AEW?
Me and Vin have been talking about this for weeks because we agree that, it would be good. But is it really listen, at this point, right, and I was just saying this on another podcast today, is there really competition anymore, and do ratings really matter? Because in the grand scheme of it all, when you're pulling 3 billion TV deals and selling your network to Peacock,
right.
Clearly there isn't an impotence on ratings anymore. There's not.
I think
eventually it's gonna come. Eventually, the chickens are gonna come home to roost, because if the ratings dip below a certain point, then you're renegotiating contracts, and at a certain point, it's undeniable.
But they're not even pulling in a mill. So they're doing 600, 700, 800, 900, whatever. I think AEW will break a milli. I think they have broken a milli.
They have broken a milli and have done it more than NXT.
And their contracts are significantly smaller than Raw and SmackDown.
Right, which is fine. But if you're talking about like main roster stuff, WWE will pull their one share. They will do their one share, which is important.
Yeah.
They'll always pull their one share. NXT won't pull a one share because NXT is a little bit more niche. Like a wrestling fan actually watches it. So it's like, to me, what they're doing, it was like 2009 Ring of Honor and like 2011 PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, right? But now it's like they take themselves way too serious. The 2 hours hurt them. I think going to Tuesdays will help them more. WWE will promote it. It'll become its own thing. They really don't need to focus and concentrate. Well, what's Cody doing? What's the Bucks doing? What's Moxley doing? Okay, cool. Let's just worry about our product and get it out there for our fans and really develop something. There is no L in this. I don't believe that there has ever been a competition because, again, like there's so much wrestling to consume and you pick and choose what you want, right? So it's like you might not like AEW, but I'll do. Or I might watch NXT, but you might watch AEW. So it's like, it really depends on what you want. I don't see it as like, oh, they lost the war. There was no war.
That's also why I don't care for when AEW, at the same token, does these little jabs at WWE. Like, oh, we got to have Scorpio Sky literally grab a brass ring during the ladder match. This big Sonic the Hedgehog ring.
That was bad.
Yeah, but when that becomes part of the speech in professional wrestling, the brass ring, where did that come from? Who created that?
WWE.
Of course.
Right, but who's used that in WWE television? You can't grab the brass ring. Vince's brass ring. This is brass ring. So you know what?
Literally Cesaro's story right now. Yeah.
Exactly. So you know what? Like, let's create this concept. We'll poke fun a little bit because it's nice to poke fun at things. Let's have a satire on things. Let's not take ourselves too seriously.
But they overhype a little bit too. Like,
they're a new company. Of course they're gonna do it. Of course they're gonna overhype. They overhype the barbed wire explosion.
Yeah, but you overhype it under. Yeah, but if you overhype it under deliver.
But what did they under deliver? What did they under deliver? It was a good match.
Christian, I think was a huge under deliver.
Facts.
Wrestling fan. No, hold on. Wrestling fans love Christian. Yes. Christian does not move the needle for casual fans.
Numbers, yeah.
If you're a casual fan and you heard AEW's got a big signee coming, your mind is racing. And then if Christian walks out, if you're a casual fan, I'm not talking about the wrestling fan, the casual fan goes, "Oh, they couldn't get Edge, so they got Christian."
What was the verbiage? What was said? How did they say it? How did they say it? What did they say?
They said we got a big Hall of Fame worthy signing.
Yeah,
and he is a Hall of Fame worthy signing because he changed a part of the fucking tag team he was in. They changed the concept of ladder matches. What are you talking about?
Oh man,
they changed the concept of ladder matches.
You know what's funny?
I'm a wrestling fan. When I saw Christian, man, cut this shit off.
You know what's funny?
Okay, but when you were watching the ladder matches back in like fucking 2000, you were like, yo, I kind of want to try this off the street post.
Okay, hold on. Out of all those people, hold on.
They reinvented Out of all those people, see now in ladder
Christian
matches now 30 years ago. Hold on,
let me talk. When you're gonna bring up those ladder matches, who do you think of first? You think the Dudleys? You think the Hardys?
Jeff Hardy.
You think Edge and Christian? You don't think just Christian.
I'm thinking all of them, but he was part of the construct that made those ladder matches happen.
But he's not the first person you think of. You think of the Dudleys.
It's a good comeback story, though, too, because
when I think of Christian, I think of the chainmail T-shirt, my nigga.
You know what's sad though? When people were watching those ladder matches, they were probably like, "Yeah, Christian's a whole Hall of Famer." And now this week, we've got Molly. No disrespect to Molly Holly, but I just think it's funny that Molly Holly is going into the Hall of Fame before Christian. But that's
that also. But what's the diminishing return on that? You just left WWE, and WWE said, we ain't got nothing for you, bro. You good.
Well, no, to say my man is a Hall of Fame worthy signing, and then signing meant that he further delayed going into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. That shit was funny to me. That's
right.
Funny to me.
Well, but also, again, do you really take stock into WWE's Hall of Fame?
Of course not. Of course not.
So
it's just funny. It's just funny. It's funny how because I imagine the Young Bucks, and I imagine they don't give a shit about the Hall of Fame, but to prop this up to say, yo, we've got this major, you better buy this fucking pay-per-view.
Meanwhile,
off day to see what's going to happen.
Think about it. That same week, they signed the Big Show and don't give him nearly as much fanfare. They're just like, oh, we got Paul Wight. But Christian gets
Paul Wight. No, but I think you're missing the mark. I think what it comes down to is Big Show is the ambassador of certain things.
No, I understand that. I just think it's funny that he doesn't get the big show.
But maybe he didn't want it either. But maybe he didn't want it because you have this cat that came back after 7 years where he was lucky that his brain wasn't rattling around in his head and he was drooling every 5 minutes. And he passed all these tests and he came back and he looked really, really good at the Rumble and he wanted to wrestle still and his body was healed and he was ready to go. And then the company in which that he made his bones and made his brain chicken soup was like, yo, we got nothing for you. So what's going to happen? The conversation is going to happen with Tony Khan. Now, here's what happens. You can't blame AEW for this. They said, yo, we got a future Hall of Famer signing. We're not going to tell you who the fuck it is because you got to watch the pay-per-view. But here's what happens. Twitter and the College of Fucktard Opinions comes on, and everybody starts to speculate from John Cena to Rob Van Dam to Batista.
Kurt Angle, yeah.
Kurt Angle, the whole nine. So what does Kurt Angle do? He puts out a teaser.
Starts lacing his boots.
That close-up picture of Kurt Angle was really, really gross. But the reason why they didn't promote Big Show the way they tried to sell Christian is because Big Show isn't wrestling.
I think he's wrestling.
I think he'll wrestle, but I don't think it'll be in a always capacity.
You're gonna tell me they had Shaquille O'Neal on that same week to fight Cody, and then that same week they bring in the Big Show for no reason?
No, they brought in the Big Show. They brought in the Big Show to say, "Hey, listen, he's on the TV now, but this is what he's gonna do." Bro, the Big Show had. If you go and listen to Renee Paquette's podcast right now, we had Big Show on.
No bias.
And no bias at all. It's just one of the greatest podcasts out right now.
No bias.
Shout out to Renee. Little May. But he was talking about how bad his hip surgery was, that he had to go multiple times and how many infections that he caught. The guy broke his hip, like the ball joints in his hip, and still wrestled with Sheamus and Cesaro because he felt he had to do the due diligence for them.
That's crazy.
So if his body, like he said, his body is getting better. So yeah, he still has some stuff in the tank. So he wants to work with certain people, but mostly his passion is going to be an ambassador and a face for the company, and he wants to commentate. He wanted to commentate 5 years ago in WWE, but WWE said no. So now he gets an opportunity to do that, and I bet you he's going to be really entertaining come next Monday.
Damn, that starts next week.
I bet he's going to be great too, but I also think that
what the fuck is he doing next
Monday? Watch a year from now, someone's going to call him out.
He's an announcer.
Well, within
a year from now, he's going to be 60, man.
Well, no, I'm saying like sometime within the next year, someone's going to call him out, and they're going to have the scene where they cut to the announce desk, and he takes his ears off, and then gets in the ring.
They're going to have to. It's going to happen. You know it's going to happen, man.
But why not? No. Do you guys actually sit and watch his work? Have you ever actually sat and watched his work?
The Big Show?
The Big Show's 49 years old.
Right? Big Show's 49 years old.
Big facts. But listen, watch his work and watch what he does to elevate the other performers. If you really watch him go up for a big ending, right? Big E's a strong dude, but that's Show. All right. Fact. Watch how he feeds into the moves, right? I don't think a lot of folks give Big Show his credit for how good Eminem. He actually is in a match.
Big Show is Eminem.
Possibly he could be. So what
That's
happens?
funny.
You guys
Show
what
is the
happens? You guys
Eminem.
make like a point, and then you just shut off, and you go back, and then you come back on.
No,
I'm really
pretty
trying to figure out the production value.
No,
of
I'm pretty
this
sure
show.
that was Fam taking math off the screen. No, well, I wanted to touch on something Emilio asked earlier. Because I don't. The only reason that AEW and NXT are in competition is because Vince said we're putting on this show in the same time slot that they're putting on their show.
Of course.
The only time, like, I don't think ratings is going to matter much. I don't want to say it's not going to matter much for Raw or NXT, but USA, they have content, but their content, like, there's a reason why WWE's been around since we were all fucking children. Like, it's consistently going to be a certain amount of people.
It's going to turn to Peacock. They're going to look at Peacock subscriptions.
Well, and remember, USA is under NBC Universal. Peacock is their streaming service. So it all makes sense. The only way I think ratings are going to hurt WWE is if SmackDown fucks up and they're like, look, we can't justify this for another run. And that, because that Fox money, that's the money. Like the Peacock money's great, but that Fox money, that was the biggest shit they had gotten at that time.
But here's the thing, though, to WWE. They always fall ass backwards into all this money. So what's going to happen next time is that deal's 3 years away from being renewed, something like that.
That.
They're going to go, if their ratings don't pick up after the pandemic, they're going to go, well, we had 2 whole years where we were dealing with no audience. And that really affected the product. We couldn't get certain stars. Roman Reigns wasn't here for a little while. So they're going to get their money again. Like, that Fox deal isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
No, and I guarantee you they renegotiate and they'll probably get the same thing again. Because, again, WWE is a brand. It's an entertainment company. It's not a professional wrestling company anymore. It hasn't been a professional wrestling company since, 1991. Let's be honest. So when you sit there and watch it and you see the properties in which and what they do, you know what you're going to get, and this is what you're going to get. There's nothing's going to change about it. It is a media-based entertainment company first and professional wrestling second. It's a television show that highlights professional wrestling, where AEW is a wrestling television show.
Well, look, we're getting to that time of year where I have to remind people on Twitter every year around WrestleMania season, WrestleMania is not for you. WrestleMania is not for wrestling fans. WrestleMania is the WWE's one chance a year to reach out and be the biggest sports entertainment show that they can be to the mainstream audience.
Message.
Facts. Super facts.
It still appeals to some of us.
But
no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
But everybody, because everybody makes a paycheck. Why do you think other indie promotions come together and congregate and work together to put on shows? Is because you're going to make a really pretty penny on one of the biggest wrestling weeks of the year.
The week of WrestleMania week, it's 9 days of WWE alone. It's like Raw. It's Hall of Fame. I'm gonna have to choose what I do and don't watch. Like, am I gonna have to DVR or whatever the Hall of Fame and watch that at my leisure? I don't know if I can do every. And it is takeovers that week.
Yeah, and it's a 2-night event now.
2 nights.
Stand and deliver. It's 2 nights.
That week we won't be talking wrestling. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna be tired of that shit.
It'll be a 2-hour episode with 15 minutes of Mania preview.
I'm not talking about
it's just gonna be alive. Did you see how many people were in those stands? Did they allow that many people?
Too many.
There are so many. I'm already starting to get my itinerary, and I'm exhausted by it.
I was in prepping for the show. I was just trying to find WWE's week, and you find these other sites, and everybody has shit all week.
Yeah,
GCW.
That's not even including WrestleCon.
Exactly. There was a lot of.
It was a WrestleCon down there.
There is a WrestleCon this year. Yeah.
Well, speaking of itinerary, this is a good place to bring this up.
Oh shit!
Wait. Before you get into that, here's a cool little tidbit of information. Right? This is cool. I think you'll get a kick out of this. The WrestleCon before everything got shut down, right? there was talk, they couldn't agree to it, but there was supposed to be a rematch between Brody Lee and Shingo Takagi at WrestleCon.
Damn.
And I remember how fucking jazzed Brody was about doing. Now this was like going to be the first thing since his release. He was good at, and he was really like, he was stoked. He wanted to go balls to the wall. And then like, I guess whatever, like contract negotiations or whatever bottomed out. That's really not my business. I won't share that. But like, but that's why I think like the importance of a WrestleCon and a GCW and then all those other shows in between, it gives a platform to professional wrestlers who are really popular in their own right, an opportunity to really shine during this week of just everything, like the Super Bowl and NBA All-Star Week, where there's so much going on. You get to look for certain things. And like a cat like Chris Dickinson was supposed to wrestle Minoru Suzuki. And that was, to me, that was going to be one of the premier things that I wanted to see, you know, when we were going to go down and do Wally Mania from what was it, Tampa or Orlando last year?
It was Tampa.
It was Tampa, yeah.
Is the week hyped up as it is with everybody outside of wrestling? Is it as hyped up for everybody inside of wrestling as it is for the people outside? Absolutely,
yes. All my wrestling homies, they get amped for it. Yeah, even outside of Wally Mania. Like the wrestlers really get jazzed for that. Like they start texting. Like once we put out the first flyer, the phone don't stop. The phone don't stop.
Fam is stupid.
But everybody, a lot of indie workers could really make a lot of coin.
So
that week.
This year was what do you think is that thing?
Anything
that can't miss.
To me, anything that's in the collective with GCW, I think For the Culture is going to be one of those shows. I think the Acid Cup is really going to be good. Effie's Big Gay Brunch, I think, is going to be popping.
Yeah.
What else is going to be there? I think
both of them, or
GCW is pretty much GCW produce. I think they're gonna run everything. So everything, GCW's big brother to everything else. So like you'll have like Brett running point for everything. And then all these other like promotions that come in and work together in a collective could like really like use GCW's production elements.
Yeah.
And things of that nature.
Shout out to them because we may have something going on with them, but we'll keep that here.
Oh, we could talk offline. I'd love to know about what y'all do with GCW because to me, you want to talk about finger on the pulse. It's GCW. Joey Janela's Spring Break to me is the premier thing every year, and I will call a spring break in my career. It will happen. Like I've called a few GCW programs, but I will call that. I think Jimmy Lloyd's Degeneration F is one of the premier things as well. So anything GCW related is really dope. I also think what you want to look for if you're down there is Talking Shop Live at WrestleCon.
Yeah.
If you want to see the Good Brothers and me running around, I think you should watch that because we got a lot of cool shit coming up. I can't say what, but we got a lot of cool shit coming up.
You running around down there?
I'll be running around down there working with the Good Brothers, yeah.
Oh, all right. So we running around down there?
I mean, if you there, I need a co-pilot to come hang out.
That man gonna be drunk.
We'll go halfies on the Ubers. Why not?
I'm pants. What the what? What a money reside. What a money reside.
Stupid.
Love it.
Hey, one more time. Run that back.
Cause I'm pants. What the what? What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside.
Yeah,
man,
that's what you call producing, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what we do. We're organized chaos with some pretty solid.
Get him out of here for that face. Get him out of here.
It's different for what I do, that's for sure.
Now, we've talked a little bit about AEW Revolution. I don't want to go through the whole show, but obviously, you know, aside from Christian being announced,
we don't want to talk any of it.
Well, we got to.
No, the show was good.
Well, no, we can take a break. I was talking about. I got some itinerary.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are we producing the show, or is this actually? Are we producing? We've been talking. Let Black Rasslin do what they do.
Look.
Oh yeah, you're the one non-black.
Davis has a white noise segment, so you know.
You watch your mouth, man.
White noise with Mighty Vin.
Wrong part of town, nigga.
What you got, Mighty Vin? What you got?
No, because we've been us and Sam have been going back and forth about because Emilio's been looking for a new hot sauce.
Ah, that's right. You guys talked about it on
got the Capital City Mambo sauce here.
You got it. I love that stuff.
He was talking about it for like the last week, right?
You just keep that in your room?
And the regular.
Oh, damn. See, I only have the mild at my Walmart. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I got the hot and spicy.
That in your room is some wild shit.
Like, do you just like? First off, I want a Mambo sauce, so please send me one at the Walmart so you can mail it to me.
Gotcha.
Please, I appreciate that. Wait, I should, right? How far are you away from Staten Island?
A minute. I'm in the middle of Jersey. I'm 45 minutes outside of Philly, so yeah, probably about a couple hours. I've never been to Staten Island, but I would imagine 2-3 hours, something like that.
2-3 hours.
I'm about 2 hours from Midtown. Yeah. Yeah.
Stop by Ray's house before you go to Carol's house. Stop by Ray and see.
Wait, Vin, do you have a preferred Mambo sauce?
I
do like the Sweet Hot. Sweet Hot has been very good.
Ain't that all of them?
Very good though.
But it's still in the room. Matt, they're all in the room. this fucking kid pulled out a Frank's Red Hots out of his room one day. I'm like, yo, don't you gotta refrigerate this shit?
That's a shame.
You're just like you don't like it's hot sauce at room temperature. Seriously? Like, don't you like it a little cold?
No. Vin?
What are you doing with the? But what are you doing with the hot sauce in the room?
I have a table. That's why I have my workspace set up in my room. So don't
answer that.
Wait, no, I want to know this. Is there just random condiments in the room?
Yeah,
no, I just have the bottle. I just have the hot sauce, and again, I like to bust it out when you're on camera because you get.
Thank you. I was gonna say, Vince, say you brought it because you knew we were recording. Say that.
No, I think it stays in his room. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's just it's there. Like how
doesn't matter. It's my place. I'll put the hot sauce wherever I want.
That's what I like to hear.
There you go.
I'm with it. 100% with it.
My hot sauce. Someone comes in my room. They want, ooh, hot sauce. You wouldn't.
Are you using the hot sauce in bedroom activities, Vincent?
That's between me and my buddy Frank. Frank's right on.
That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, Math, Cal, we're talking about hot sauces, and I'm thinking, I told him, yo, like sriracha destroyed me because I don't have a taste for it no more because I used it so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He goes,
and I was like, oh, you should try Frank. So I just had like
I just pulled out the Frank that literally like on his left. Bro, he's sitting in his fucking bedroom. He's sitting in his bedroom. Like he's sitting in his bedroom. It's not like he's near the refrigerator and he goes away. It's just boom, here you go, bang. Here's the sauce, my man. You should. I put this shit on everything.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It's wherever he's comfortable with it.
Yeah,
right. But now I also want. But then the deviant in my brain, I'm like, oh, who's he pouring his hot sauce on?
God damn it! I love it. No, but in all seriousness, what are you eating? Are you eating chicken with the Mambo sauce? What do you?
Oh yeah, I put that on. I get some chicken from.
I think the video said it.
Yeah.
Shit.
The video said
it. Thank you, Ben. On to Revolution. Aside from Christian, well, all right, Christian is all elite. It's official. I almost didn't watch the show only because when I turned it on, Chris Jericho was walking, and I'm over him. I'm actually he's a baby face. Inner Circle is baby faces now.
Yeah, Wednesday night it went down. No. Yeah, Wednesday it went down. Yeah, Wednesday went down. The face turn happened Wednesday.
The baby face.
For who?
For the Four Horsemen.
They still healed for me.
Let's not call them the Four Horsemen.
That's a new horseman. No, Sparks. Last summer I said, look, watch.
But this is what I mean when I talk about AEW has no defining characteristics in a lot of their characters. Because who's the babyface here? You've got one side that you're turning babyface, but they're turning babyface on the people who have the Four Horsemen in them. who I know are heels, but now are in this legacy mode where it's like people are going to cheer the Four Horsemen.
No, they're not. I think they're going to cheer the Inner Circle because now, like,
they're never.
Well, because these fucking idiots they sing along to Jericho's theme.
Yeah, so I think that's what they're going to do, but I don't think they're going to cheer for the
only motherfuckers. Only Puerto Ricans niggas cheered for was Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez. Nobody is cheering for the Inner Circle.
Wait, does Jericho?
Look, I like Proud and Powerful. I do like Proud and Powerful.
Correct. We all like them, but
we all like it. But Inner Circle as a whole, I do not like.
Yeah, I'm not
care for them.
I'm not in. I don't know what Jake Hager's babyface is going to do at this point.
Yeah, where's this
babyface?
Yeah, Jack
babyface.
Jack Swagger. Boy, so is Jericho gonna?
Why is he babyface? Because he tried to start an insurrection. What like?
But wait, because Jericho
allegedly
it was on one of those apps. We didn't know if it was actually going down. No, but Jericho always switches up his are we going to get a new Jericho persona? Is it still going to be? Can he still be Judas at this point if he's a babyface?
Yes, he can still be Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho. The one thing about that guy, which is so good to me, is that he knows how to reinvent himself, even with this with such a subtlety.
He can't wrestle anymore, Sparks.
What do you mean he can't wrestle no more? What do you mean?
Sparks,
tell him, man. Explain it, man.
You know he can barely walk to the ring. Sparks, stop it.
What do you mean? He's 50, but he can work. You want him to bust out a Huda Conrada? No. Hit the code breaker, punch, kick, hit a lion salt.
But you know what I don't need to see? I don't need to see him screw up a lion salt and then go on Twitter and be like, no, I still got it. And then next week hit a barely acceptable lion salt and be like, I still got it.
Still got it, buddy.
You can't still got it no more. It's cool if you can't. Stop trying.
He at some point he has to at the very least transition to whatever the next phase of his, because that's like well, what I'm saying, like DDP yoga is cool, and like staying active is cool. I respect all of that, but at a certain point, he looks like the old man in the club.
But you change your style, right? So now you know what you're supposed to do. You know your duty, right? Yeah. So now he's got to elevate everybody around him, right? So now it's like MJF stepped it up, right?
Who's getting elevated outside of MJF?
Well, I think
in the Inner Circle.
I think at one point, Sammy Guevara, for a little while with him when they were La Sex Gods.
But that fizzled out. Who got taken to? It's been over a year. Who can you say he has taken to that next level that if they left the Inner Circle right now, they would be completely changed? I was hoping again that it would be Proud and Powerful.
No,
but if they left, they would still be
I won't say who. I'll say what. I think he helped AEW elevate. And I think that he
he's a proven name.
Yeah. And he has G code for that. So he can walk around. He can walk around with the bat. And he can walk around.
But I don't think. But he's elevating. But the person he elevated the most right now is MJF, and I think MJF is the person who didn't need it.
No,
he was getting heat all on his own.
Right, but now it really adds another component to him. I think it does. I mean, you have the heater and Wardlow. Like everything looks good right now on paper. MJF looks good. MJF looks good.
Are we watching
what service did Wardlow? But what service did Wardlow provide that wasn't already being done?
And put Chris Jericho through a fucking table off the stage.
But him and Jake Hager served the same exact purpose.
Well, who knows? I think there's a difference in the heaters. I think Wardlow did more by saying less with Jake Hager. I just don't think he just has it in him to speak.
Well, neither of them talk at all to begin with, so I don't know where they stand.
He better not speak. He better not.
No, but Wardlow could look intimidating and stand there and puff out his chest. Hager can't.
That's facts.
I'm still stuck on Chris Jericho. Wasn't Chris Jericho supposed to put Orange Cassidy up? Granted, this could be
But again, Cassidy was so overexposed at one point. Now it's boring. It's like you gonna sit there and really, wow, he was really good. At one point, he was probably one of the most over guys. If there was a crowd in 2019 and in 2020, if there was a crowd, a legitimate crowd,
he got hurt by there being no crowd.
He got hurt by being And then I think Best Friends and Miro feud, I think that messed with him too.
I think that was a big wet fart, the whole Miro thing. I think they have not done right by Miro yet.
But y'all think that Jericho would have pushed Orange Cassidy to the moon?
No, I'm not saying that. Emilio brought that up. I'm not saying I think Orange Cassidy would have been better off doing small vignettes and really building up like for a long time, like a Sting in WCW length of time before he even had like his first serious match.
No, but Sting's WCW run when he was the blonde.
Crow Sting.
I thought you were talking about Blonde Sting when he had to get the opportunity to face.
No, not Surface Sting.
Jesus
but
Christ.
like,
Surface Sting.
No. But imagine the pop if let's say they were gonna have Orange Cassidy do his first serious match before coronavirus, which they kind of did a little bit.
It's getting real.
But then they say, you know what? We hear there might not be crowds coming up. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. And you wait until a year and a half until after COVID. And now you've got fans back and they haven't seen Orange Cassidy even get in a ring. They've just seen vignettes here and there in the back. Someone kicks a stall door down. He's in there taking a shit. Like just little things like that. Where it pops the crowd. Those pops were outrageous.
He was getting some really good pops.
Facts.
And now you make him the guy that's going to dethrone someone like Chris Jericho.
Somebody's got to do it.
They needed to. I guess they wanted to test whether or not they could elevate him as the next baby. That's what they needed to do because he was garnering so much heat. So what do? You take the risk, and then all right. Well, it didn't work so well. Okay.
Did we think
you get one chance to make a first impression?
I remember
the payroll waited.
Why is this circling back to Eminem?
I think you don't. No. I think
you got one shot.
One shot. Do not let your chance to go. Opportunity.
That was good. That was good.
What with a gimmick like that? I think you get one opportunity.
Right. Facts. I think because I remember that being the conversation that Meltzer was having when Orange Cassidy first signed. The question, everybody loved him, but the question was,
what do you do with him?
Where does this go? Like after you understand what the gimmick is and he has a great match, like you either have to evolve that or he's just a guy who does a really dope gimmick on the show.
They blew it too soon. They could have waited and had it really get somewhere hot, and they blew it too soon.
Yeah, but how many more times are you going to do cameo appearances though? Especially now when there's no crowd. So what?
That's what I'm saying. You literally waited out.
It was eventually he had to work though.
Yeah,
eventually he had to work.
You can't sit on the bench.
I think he was gonna You can't sit on the bench. It was either he was gonna work Jericho or he was gonna work Pac.
But it was both. A year. It's only been a year.
Well, technically they've been a company for 3 years, but they've been on TV for it'll be October. Now they're going into their second year.
But we're saying through COVID.
It's been a year.
You could have held them off TV for.
That's rough, though. That's rough. That's rough. 9 months. You're out of the public eye for 9 months. You're forgotten about because of just the way life moves. Professional wrestling is even quicker than life.
You just saw Christian.
There's a big
exactly. Who's to say you can't do?
There's a big
who's
difference.
To say you can't do a being the? But who's to say you can't do a being the elite style web serise? With Orange Cassidy during COVID.
Yeah, but that's not on
where
TV,
it's him going different places.
It's more of a contrived.
It's put a mask on something.
Yeah, but it's more of a contrived fandom, like a BTE style thing, instead of going on national television. Big difference.
I still do it. Who's to say he can't do it? Like, there's no rules. They're doing cinematic matches now. There's no fucking rules.
No, they're doing cinematic, but I think the one thing is, and I don't think it's a clear line, but I mean, there's definitely a separation between what the fuck's on Dynamite and what stays on YouTube on BTE. And that, and I mean, I feel like Orange Cassidy would be perfect for that style of programming, but at some point, that has to transition to the show, and you have to.
But it doesn't transition to the show because if you go and you watch BTEs, they're really entertaining, and it really gave Dark Order a personality, and it really started to shape what they were to become. But it never translated on television. The only time it started to translate on television was when Brody Lee won the TNT championship from Cody, and then they started to throw the papers, and they came out with the lawnmowers because that was an homage to BTE. So it really gave them a mission statement and a whole second wave, and to the fact now where they come on and they're these cast of characters where they're rejects, but they're like really funny and they have really good comedic timing, where now they're trying to sway Adam Page to be their new leader.
Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at that. I like Adam Page. I'm not mad at that story.
No, I think it's great. I really wanted to see the way it was looking on BTE, it was going to be Brody Lee versus Hangman Page.
Word. And I've not watched a lot of BTE, but I've heard of how much, especially, with Brody's passing and hearing people talking about, his legacy and everything, the amount of conversations just about not just like him being on BTE, but like behind the scenes of BTE, having him cracking everybody up just because of who he was and, how he was behind the scenes. He was probably the best example of bringing someone up and turning somebody into something new and eligible to be a champion from BTE and still keeping, the mix of comedy and the mix of fun and humor with, then getting in the ring and doing the goddamn thing.
Right, but can't they put what they do on BTE but make it a segment on AEW television?
I think they could, and they probably should, but they don't for whatever reason. Do they want to keep it separate? I think that gets the characters. I think that gets the gimmicks over more. And this is why they want to integrate it.
Well, this is why I like AEW more, because they really take they really use their social platforms more wisely to really develop, like let the characters really develop, because most of these cats are so new still. Like, you get a John Silver, who's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. John Silver's whole entire identity came from just freestyling and working with Brody. Mm-hmm. And getting the papers thrown at him and Johnny Hungry and all of this stuff like that there's something special there. Anna Jay became kind of like this cool, bully, angsty teen out of nowhere, where she would say like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, she's like Raven from Teen Titans in a way, So it's really cool to see. And then you have like the entire other cast of characters. And then you had this maniac who would be so unhinged. 1 minute he's sweet and funny. And then the next minute he's going to bark at you and throw papers and threaten to beat the ever-loving shit out of you in Brody Lee. And now it's like, whoa, bring that now over here so we can see that here.
But they don't do that shit, Sparks.
No, they don't. But I think the importance of like a program like a BTE and a dark elevation now, you get the opportunity for the character development on YouTube, because you're cultivating your audience. Right. So if you want to really develop and cultivate your audience, you could take it to YouTube. You could take it to Twitch. I think that's important. So now I think like you look at it, maybe the casual fan who bleeds through like a movie or a sporting event will come on and watch. Like, to me, who I think is going to really excel wherever they put him, and he's going to get his gimmick over, is going to be Ethan Page.
Check this shit out. Let's cut the bullshit.
Well,
right? Why don't you take all this shit that you just said and present that shit to Cody and the rest of them fuckboys that's over there, because they're fucking it up on TV.
I don't know if they're fucking it up.
All this fly shit online.
They do. They got a lot of fly shit.
Yeah.
And then it never makes it to television.
Well, here's the thing, and this is the problem with WWE. Well, this is the problem as well. It's because for all the good that things like AEW Dark do, there is a double-edged sword to it, which is there is a certain section of the audience that's seeing it sort of quote unquote before prime time. So you've got things like AEW Dark, which is not the official flagship program. Now you've got Dark Elevation. On the WWE side, we were talking about this, which is even more crazy. You've got Raw, SmackDown. Now you've got NXT as a third brand. And now you're going to have NXT Evolve because they're integrating Evolve into it.
I prefer to call it NXT Dark, Vin.
So now you're going to have NXT Dark. And then, but you've also got NXT UK. You've got 205 Live. They're looking to do NXT Japan still.
And you still got superstars, and you still got
superstars in main event. And it's all this big feeder system. So it's like by the time someone quote unquote graduates to get on Raw, it's like, where's the surprise? When Keith Lee shows up on SmackDown, it's not like, oh shit, who's this guy? Like, oh, he's doing this. It's like
but they botched the fuck out of that.
Guy. Yeah. I'm just saying in general, like, who's the last person to show up on Raw or SmackDown where you were like, oh shit, they got this guy? Like AJ Styles in the Rumble?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah, it was AJ.
I don't fuck it. Yeah, it had to be.
I don't think there's been a big enough surprise since. No.
But still, it's like you said, it's a feeder system.
It's all
there
going
ain't
to
no
the
feeder system over there. It's all like motherfuckers operate in a actual, like, it's order.
Right.
Yeah.
When I watch AEW, it's a chick with headphones on and she's fucking singing. I don't like what's going on.
I did not understand.
No, that was fucking great. That was fucking.
Get him out of here.
No, because what are they doing? They're also appealing to a Japanese audience. They're also appealing to an internet-based audience. WWE doesn't know how to book their Japanese talent outside of NXT. Why do you think Asuka's on life support?
Right.
That's accurate. You're accurate on that. But
so why? What's the matter with that? That was cool as fuck.
It was horrible.
That's her gimmick? That's her gimmick, is to just start singing during a match?
Mm-hmm. And she's obnoxious, and then when she goes in there and she'll fight you.
No, she was obnoxious without the mic.
But what was the difference from what's her face, that Jillian broad from back in the day in WWE?
I don't like that either. I didn't like that either.
But you put this in, but this works though, and the crowd really seems to dig it. And then I guarantee you, once
Sparks.
But I guarantee you that once the crowd really starts to come in, people are going to dig that. People are going to. I guarantee you. I'll put fucking mambo sauce on that. People are going to dig that.
No, put $3. Math loves betting $3 on a motherfucker. Bet Math $3 that once.
I'll bet you $3.
Yeah, all right, bet.
Okay, we'll say it Bronx Tale style. $3. I'll bet you $3.
It's no way I like the Vicky Guerrero thing isn't gonna work for you.
She's punching her. She's punching her in the thigh.
But it's not Vicky Guerrero though.
The whole
she's not coming out yelling out, "Excuse me."
That's off of her tree.
Well, she's being obnoxious.
Facts. That's her tree.
Yeah, but it's you just don't like obnoxious.
Well, in every case here, is she supposed to be a babyface or heel?
I think that's supposed to be a babyface thing.
Get the fuck.
Or is everyone just supposed to be, hey, I'm cool. Look at me on my cool factor. Look at my cool points.
That's kind of what it feels. It feels like everybody is varying shades of gray a lot of the time on AEW.
But I think shades of gray is just professional wrestling. Period.
No, well, yes and no.
Yeah, shades of gray are it's all shades.
Really friends with everybody.
But I think, because I think
it doesn't work with everybody. Come on.
But at some point though, that's what I'm always thinking. It's like, all right, what is Bobby Lashley right now? Is he a face or a heel?
What is the Hurt Business? Period. Are they a face or the heel? Because when they were working Retribution, they were faces. When they were working everybody else, they were heels. And let's look at this. Now, you want to talk about why AEW does not need to put any of their YouTube talent or their properties or their shows on? That the ratings right there show that why they don't need to do it.
That was a drop though, wasn't it?
Right there. I mean, it's not really a drop.
Was it a drop?
It was a drop.
They pulled almost 800,000.
Yeah, but from what I was reading, it was it. I mean, it's a week after.
You don't know the full.
But it's also after a big pay-per-view. I mean, the one thing with WWE, regardless of how shitty a pay-per-view might end up being, like, people tuned in to see what was happening after Elimination Chamber. Like, that Monday night rating is always a thing. I'm kind of surprised that, especially after.
Well, the Miz, I think what happened was, I think the Miz
was a big point.
I think that was just such a huge moment because it came out of nowhere and it was so unexpected. And you're like, okay, now what do they do with this?
But I would just expect.
Facts.
I'm looking. What was the drop?
Vin, do your job.
No, I'm looking now. Last week
Ryan
showed
Davis,
you
Davis. I'm not gonna try and
Ryan Davis. It was down 20.5% from last week's show.
Right.
Davis could be himself.
The key demo was down 3%. I just it's one of those things where after the ending to that main event, because they'd have to explain it.
That put a lot of I think that put a bad taste in people's mouths. So I think they weren't going to tune in.
That's a good for people who like, because when I heard Omega Moxley again in another, we're just going to beat the shit out of people with barbed wire around. I wasn't hype. I wasn't hype for the last time I saw it, but I know people like that. And I heard a lot of people said they fucked with the match. It was up until Eddie Kingston ran in to cover this man from the Goldberg Sparklers that people were like, oh, what the fuck? I mean, an ending can ruin a match, but I mean, was the match that ruined? Was the pay-per-view that ruined because of a fuck up of the fireworks?
I think so. I think it left. It really did leave it bad.
It did, because here's why. What do you remember in professional wrestling? You remember the intro and you remember the ending.
And the show, yeah.
Everything else in the middle is just foggy.
That's that's WWE style wrestling. Yeah, go ahead.
That's wrestling in general.
But I think WWE's got a formula where it's like we can put on a 3.5-star match. Our intro is going to be amazing. Our outro is going to be amazing, and I could call the spots in that match as especially a 7-minute Raw match.
You go back in your head and you think about maybe your top 5 wrestling moments, right? Top 5 all time. You could always remember the outro to every one of them. Yeah, because that's what makes it special. You're not going to tell me, oh man, the work rate in this, the drop down tackle to the corner, hook spot, comeback spot, up below the heat. No, you're not going to care about that.
Hold on, you said top 5 though, Sparks.
Yeah,
you gonna
at some point
that shit.
Well, at some point, good pro wrestling is going to be in that. But I feel what you're saying.
No. I think the pro wrestling is always going to be there, but I think you're going to remember how it ended more than anything else. So if you want to pick your favorite match,
look, also most wrestling matches aren't predicated on an ending with a big fucking countdown clock,
right?
And explosions.
They had a whole match drawn out.
Fucking Die Hard or something,
right? But there was also But they also said that there was a malfunction. But also at the same time too. Now, if you want to get really funky with it and you really want to blow shit up, well, then you have a football field adjacent to you. You can't put 20 pounds of C4 explosives 5 feet away from people. And Dali's place is such a smaller environment where if you look at all the old Japanese style deathmatch stuff, most of this stuff is done in the water.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you watch old FMW,
right? It's like there's at least a barrier between the ring and the people. Yeah. There's some area. So
do it on the football field. And then you can blow up shit.
Honestly, don't do the match. Who told you had to do this match?
Maybe they want
Tony Khan go to you and say you got to do an exploding barbed wire match.
Well, that was why I initially came to
why
the
not, though?
Well, but that's
why not? Yeah.
My thing is this.
Yeah.
Give me light tubes then. Let the spooky dust be popping all over the place.
My thing is, like, I know from what I've been trying, because I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan. I'll say that all day. But from what I'm understanding with him, especially now, he's trying to be the guy in every category, whether it is technical wrestling, hardcore, whatever. He's trying to be jack of all trades, and all this. I don't know,
Kenny
like
Omega.
Yes. The last time I saw Omega Moxley, I feel like they was in this happens a lot. They're hitting each other with brooms. They're ripping up the ring and fucking each other up with barbed wire and shit. Like, I don't know. Like, it makes me feel like, is this all Moxley can do when it goes to main events in AEW? Is have some type of
I think
Gargano and Ciampa did the same thing though. Twice.
Hey, I don't co-sign it. I don't co-sign that, but B, I also don't know if I would, when we're talking about people who.
What was Jon Moxley's reputation for? What's the Death Rider?
Death Rider was strong style.
Yeah, and what do you see? But now you see him in Bloodsport, and he's shoot wrestling.
Is that it? But is that it though? Like, is that it?
You get what you get with Jon Moxley. That's it. You get what you get with Jon Moxley.
I thought that was dope.
That's why he's my Eminem though, because I can respect that you're good in that field and that you're good at what you do. But me personally, I don't need to see. I do not care about seeing you guys doing fucking DDTs on the pieces of wood with bar. I'm over that. I'm over it at this point, especially when the ending is going to be the win.
And especially because this is not why, like, if you're a fan of Kenny Omega, this is not why you fell in love with Kenny Omega.
That's not what I understood.
No, but I want to see Kenny Omega do something like this because it's normally outside of the traditional wheelhouse of what Kenny Omega does.
It is,
but it's not. But again, it's jack of all trades, master of none.
He's
trying to do this.
Wheelhouse? Watch fucking anything from New Japan Pro Wrestling in the last 3 years. That's Kenny Omega's wheelhouse.
V-triggers.
Huh? Yeah, Kenny Omega. Let's not downplay Kenny Omega's ability to work.
I'm not. But the last 3 years, he hasn't had no memorable shit.
Maybe Kenny Omega's not Eminem.
You gotta have the dance partner. He had the dance partners in Okada, Tanahashi, and Naito.
Exactly.
Is Moxley not the dance partner?
For Kenny, maybe it's too much of a.
I love Ilfam just jumping in with the Mortal Kombat
my cousin is saying it's not really Kenny.
I think Jon Moxley is a very, very important cog in professional wrestling.
I think Kenny Omega right now is a parody version of Kenny Omega.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm not as.
Here's what I see, and this is what I think the problem is. When you're so good, the ordinary is so underwhelming because you're doing so much stuff.
Come on, Spark.
I don't know about that. I think
I'm telling you the truth.
Here's the thing: when you're in New Japan,
everybody's used to him.
You're able to save it all up. You're able to save it all up for the big matches, which is what he's best at. When you're in AEW, you can't do that because you have television to worry about. Now, I guess could they do that if they wanted to? They set the ground rules. So if Kenny Omega wanted to be a great heel, which we've made this argument, or I've been making this argument for a while now, that he is not a true heel. Because we were talking about a couple of weeks ago on Wrassle Rap, people were bringing up Miz versus Kenny Omega.
In what?
I don't know. I just saw it online a lot, and I don't get it.
You don't know why people say things at this point, yeah.
People just saying shit. But here's the thing. I think there actually is an argument to be made. Miz is a better heel than Kenny Omega. Because
that's facts.
Because Kenny Omega
that's facts.
is trying to be a heel, but giving you exactly what you want. He's opening doors with new companies that they haven't worked with. He's saying, "Oh, you want to do the barbed wire? Yeah, I will do the barbed wire death match." He's giving you, like, for people who want it, like little Bullet Club reunions. So he's giving fans of Kenny Omega what they want. Whereas The Miz is the type of person who's like, "Look, I know you don't like me. I know I work a safe style that you hate, but fuck you. I got the belt anyway, and nothing's going to stop me." Which is what a heel would do.
Kenny Omega had more character when he didn't say shit.
Yeah.
Before all that shit, Cal. Before when he just walked down with the leather
Kenny Omega's best character work is listening to Chris Charlton and Kevin Kelly talk about Kenny Omega during Kenny Omega matches.
Jesus. I guess the question is, how do y'all feel? Because this Saturday is Impact Sacrifice pay-per-view. Well, it's on Impact Plus, but they've got
Sacrifice.
They've got Rich Swann and Mooth is having a match, and Mooth, and the winner of that match is going to be defending
having a match.
They're unifying the two world titles, and then the person who wins that is going to be wrestling.
Horrible idea.
Kenny Omega.
I don't know if it's a horrible idea. I just don't think they should have ever brought back the TNA title because at that point it's like, well, what's the title then?
Right.
Well, he was saying that he was stepped over and passed over for X amount of time as an Impact didn't want to give him an opportunity to wrestle for the championship. So he went out and created his own, and he found the old title lying around.
He found the title.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you found it? Like when Mankind found the hardcore title? Just sitting
Why not, though? But why not?
Like when Jim Duggan found the U.S. title in the garbage?
Yeah, but this is some of the best work Moose has done in his career so far. Like,
that's accurate.
His stuff is really standing out now.
Accurate.
I mean, he doesn't need that. When he hit that Spanish fly on Kenny Omega, I popped because he could do it with ease, but he doesn't choose to do it. Now he's knowing when to pick his spots, and he's doing it on one of the most biggest it factor guys in professional wrestling right now in Kenny Omega. So I think that's cool. And plus, I think it's just great that you get to see two black champions go at it for a championship, and then the winner can go and face Kenny Omega. I want more professional wrestling where
let's calm down there, because the context of that you just said is black guys get to wrestle for the right to fight a white guy.
No. Please don't put fucking words in my mouth. Here's what I'm
saying. I'm not saying that.
No, chill the fuck out. I want to see, because here's the deal. It's too whitewash, right? Professional wrestling. So right now, let's switch it up. Right, let's switch it up. So now you have two dudes going at it in the company for the company's championship. Let's rock and roll with that, right? Let them do what they got to do. The added bonus, the sprinkle, is just to get the Kenny Omega, right?
Yeah, so I don't think you need it. What I'm saying
but this is their partnership, though. This is their fucking partnership. So they're going to do it no matter what.
Omega's hair still looks like top row.
It's their fucking partnership. So what are they going to do?
They got to do it at some point. They got
to do it at some point. But then why have the match?
But it also helps to get their championship over, because outside of their
not if you're going to give the belt immediately to Kenny Omega. That's the difference.
Give it to Kenny Omega, though. They're not going to give it to Kenny Omega. No, they're not.
Hey, Sparks,
can't give it to Kenny Omega. That's crazy to give it to Kenny Omega.
Sparks, crazy. Do you have any connection to Mooth? That's a legit question.
No, I don't.
All right, because we don't fuck with him around here, right?
Why?
So
what's so bad about Moose?
Who?
I'm not doing the list. So what's
so bad about
it? That'll be off the air.
Okay.
No. Wait. Summary. I don't know if people know, we drop a list every year. BRP 50. He was on the list.
We're not leaving the show without calling him his real name, Sparks.
He was on the list, shared the image on his story, and then I guess didn't like who was ahead of him on the list, and basically told us to take him off the list. Among other things,
taking you off the list, like
in comments that he later deleted from the Instagram comment section.
What place was he again? Like
40-something.
It's not bad.
It wasn't bad for him. Especially he's 51 now.
51 now.
He's 51 now. He's forever 51 now. But he was low as 40-something. But I don't think the year he had last year, or the year he had when we did this last summer.
No, Mooth wasn't setting the world on fire.
I appreciate you, man.
I respect it. His year now since has been a lot better. And I don't want to say we were the catalyst for that, but it's interesting to see.
Who's to say you didn't like the fire that sparked the Mooth Renaissance of 2021?
I'm just saying. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mooth. But the question is, who do y'all rather want to see? Would you rather see Swann or Mooth against Kenny Omega?
Real shit. Mooth looks like a, you know what I mean? When you go
like
back,
a champion.
He looks like a champion.
What a champion looks like. He looks like a fucking champion.
It's gonna be Rich Swann.
It's definitely gonna be Rich Swann.
The thing is, I just think, and this is what I was going back to. I think. I apologize if there's a misunderstanding. I think that
you put fucking words in my mouth. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that.
No, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I wasn't putting words in your mouth.
Don't. We're good. Make your point.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that. I think I don't trust them to not give the belt to Kenny Omega.
I don't see them putting. I can't see it doesn't. What was he gonna do?
That's where I think they're doing.
Duty? There's no way.
But that's the original point I was trying to make is that I don't think to have two guys in their company that are so primed, and then to just especially have them be black, and then have them basically get fed to Kenny Omega.
Yeah, but but nobody said they're gonna get fed to Kenny Omega. My thing was this: I'm tired. They have no main event picture, so it's good to see that there's proper representation within the main event picture. Whether or not Matt or Cal or Earl hates fucking Moose, whatever it is.
Mooth.
No, and I think you're correct. I think you're 100% correct.
Whatever the case may be, you're good to see that.
I think you're 100% correct
because they have no main event. They have no main event picture. They don't.
But I'm saying that could be their main event picture. I don't think you need to put Kenny Omega in that spot just yet.
So what happens?
So what?
I think you just have them do you have them unite the title, and then let's say Mooth wins. Now he's the champion for a little while, and then you get Kenny Omega in there.
It's going to be Rich Swann. Rich Swann's going to unite the championship.
It's going to be Rich Swann to unite it, but you
Omega.
So what happens after that? That's what I'm trying to see. What happens with Kenny Omega?
There's got to be some weird run-in. I
can't. It doesn't change him.
There's no way. There's no way that they're going to do that because they're investing way too much time and they're putting way too much into Richie. So,
but they're investing a lot of time and energy into the idea of Omega, opening doors and going company to company. Though that's why I think they're planning on getting the belt.
Right. But do you see that as an option? Because how many titles is he going to do that with? Now what? Next is what? So he has what? AAA. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to have Impact, and then what? He's gonna go and he's gonna fight Coda, and he's gonna take the IWGP. So he's gonna have 4 champions.
Could be.
Are they really gonna do that? Because then he stretches himself thin, runs the risks of burnout and injury, and then he can't defend any title anywhere.
But if you're the guy, and I think Kenny Omega is this guy who wants to be the guy that makes history, because that's how he's billing himself. Remember. Is he's told people out, in promos that he wants to be the guy to make history, and that he's done the whole he's hinted the whole I'm the Thanos, I'm going to go out and get all the stones myself.
He can say that, but what company or what joint company? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Scott D'Amore and Tony Khan say. They got to figure out what the negotiations could be. Right. Do you really want? It's cool to have your tag team champions.
That's one thing.
Out. But to have your world championship on another man that wrestles for another company, that's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
No, it is a bad look, but I think the people in Impact may be looking at it and not seeing the forest for the trees and maybe going, oh, we can get our title on Kenny Omega. That may be, quote unquote, sexier to them than having it on, anyone in their own company.
I wouldn't be shocked if they. I wouldn't like it. I don't think it would make sense, but I would not. At least for a little bit of time, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, but where do you go next?
Well, that's the thing.
Impact World Championship when there's nobody else to face. There is no main event picture when you have Richie Swann taking on Tommy Dreamer. Where is your main event picture?
What's that one?
I don't know. That's an answer for that Impact. That's something Impact has to answer for.
So then what are you going to do? So if you have the Eater of Worlds coming in and he wants to fucking put the Infinity Gauntlet of Championships onto his hand, well, this is the next step. What else is there? You don't think that would be a good opportunity for Moose or Richie to fight Kenny Omega?
No, I'm not saying it's a bad chance for them. Provided they win, even if it's by shenanigans, they have to win.
I think it goes down to shenanigans because that way it doesn't make either champion look weak. If Kenny's not eating a pin, and neither should Richie or Moose, they shouldn't eat the pin. But I think in the current landscape of professional wrestling, I think it is too whitewashed. So I want to see performers of color have the opportunity to go against the heir apparent, the greatest wrestler in the world.
Right.
So where is
Randy Savage?
What happened?
No, sir. Don't even worry.
He said it and jumped right out. But no, I think we're on the same page. I just think that
I didn't jump out, Vin. I got pulled.
He was pushed out.
No, but Emilio, I think we're on the same page. I just think that the discrepancy is what they do with Kenny Omega.
You can't.
Like,
You can't have your champion eat another pin. You already had Rich Swann get pinned clean by Kenny Omega. That's
you hope. I hope that's not what happens.
Again, I just think it's a timing issue. I don't think it's a good look.
But if they
have those two guys
take the title off Richie, if they do take the title off Richie, right, and it goes on to AEW television, right? Well, does Richie chase it and show up on it on Dynamite?
He better.
He better.
He better.
So how? But then you have
where it becomes too messy. Now this is where it becomes too messy. It's cool to have like all these people come in and out and bob and weave, but there has to be a separation of church and state when it comes to world championships.
Right.
I think that's the thing. You can have Private Party come and challenge the Good Brothers for an AEW Tag Team Championship. You can have Finn Juice do the same thing, right? But at the end of the day, do you really want your titles to go off the people that you choose to put them on in the first place? No.
I guess that's the question, though. I don't know. I hope that you're right. I hope that they do not want that to happen. With 100% confidence, I can't say that that's what Impact is thinking right now. I can't. But
exactly. I think that, again, I think it's a matter of timing. Had you not had Kenny Omega in this position to want the world championship right now and still do the thing he's been doing, where he's just sort of biding his time, and you have Rich Swann and Mooth go at it, and one of them becomes the champion, and you have them sort of lord over their kingdom for a little while, and all of a sudden Kenny Omega, maybe like a couple months from now, is like, you know what? I want that belt too. I think that's like that belt, because Rich Swann is holding it. That's a worthy belt to me. Right. And maybe that elevates that person.
Right.
Because it goes, okay, well, this person's making the belt. He's making the Impact belt worth something to me now.
No,
I can't see it.
We got a month. I mean, whoever wins this Saturday is taking on Kenny at Rebellion in April 24th, I believe. So we'll see. It's either going to be Kenny being all over Impact again, or hopefully what should happen is whoever wins that title should be showing up on Dynamite from now until the next Impact pay-per-view. I think that's if the idea is to help put each other over, I think you need that. I think you need to see more than the tag team people. If we're gonna, especially if we're booking a match with the AEW World Champion.
It's one thing to put them in a 6-man, but then it's one thing where he eats the pin, but then to put them in 1-on-1, I think it's a little bit different.
That's a fact.
So I think you gotta get some type of chicanerous nonsense, because you can't take your championship and put it on somebody else. You can't. Or maybe they do and they just say fuck it. I don't know. But
that's what I'm saying.
But then that means whatever you do now, you have to do it. If AEW is going to do it on Impact, so that means Impact has to take a championship from AEW and bring it onto their TV. It's the only. It's like
what title would that even be?
Maybe the tag team championships. I don't know. Could be the tag team. Could be TNT.
I think the TNT.
Is TNT cool with that? Being on Axis or whatever.
Motherfucking.
It's all these It's all these conundrums. It's a lot of. This is where it gets into being a big pickle, because it's like all of these situations sound like good way, at least like acceptable ways forward, except that they all create, like, you open one door and now like 2 doors close behind you. It's like, what do you do?
Right. There's only so many ways you can go.
Yeah, there's like again, my whole I just do not like the optics of, if they're going to give it to Kenny, 2 prominent black guys in their company fighting for the championship that they're going to unite.
So
then they're basically going to give it to Kenny Omega in a hard fought bout, even if it is a hard fought bout, because I think that the optics of having either one of them, be the top dog, be the top guy in Impact, means so much more than just giving it to Kenny Omega after that. Even if it does give that one guy a rub.
Well, Sparks brought up a good point. I mean, their main event roster is real weak. I'm trying to think outside of Rich and Mooth. Because Chris Bay is holding down the X division. I was gonna say I don't want to say mid card, but I mean he's not in the main event picture right now, and I don't know who else.
You had Eddie Edwards. You had
Eddie Edwards.
Sammy Callahan.
They still
had Ethan Page, but now he's gone.
Yeah, Ethan Page.
But it's still been like throughout quarantine. It's been Willie Mack. It's been Chris Bay. It's been Mooth, and it's been Rich Swann. That's been the division, and everybody else is kind of fucking with each other.
I mean, I think if I'm Impact, and this comes down to, do they have the money? Is this in their plans? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. You got to go out and get now is the time to go out and get some more talent. Get some more talent that's going to help define what Impact Wrestling is. Because they had it for a little while. I still think their women's division is pretty good. Go out. Ken Shamrock is on your roster, but you got to keep him there forever. So you got to break the bank on him.
I think he's been there forever.
Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, Canned Shamrock.
That's the name of the episode. Canned Shamrock is funny. No,
Christ.
They got to start spending money though. I mean, do they not have the money to spend?
They got the money.
They got to, right?
Facts.
They got the money. They signed
the money.
The Good Brothers don't come cheap. They signed the Good Brothers.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting. Do you guys normally watch Impact pay-per-views?
Yeah, I watch Impact every Tuesday, and then I watch the pay-per-views. Yeah.
Word. Okay. Well, shit. We'll see. It looks like it's actually going to be a pretty decent one. They've got I'm really hyped for the Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz versus Jordan and Jazz.
I love Fire Flavor. Best entrance in pro wrestling right now.
Word.
Shit. Facts. And it's.
I'm looking at their wrestlers right now, like active roster.
Right.
It better not be Canned Shamrock.
Canned Shamrock.
They don't have.
Oh, you know what? They got some good people. Yeah, Ace Austin, but that's more X division.
They got a better X division than they do
right.
Yeah.
Stack.
Brian Myers. Does he do anything for you?
He doesn't tickle my fancy.
Well, he's wrestling Eddie Edwards,
Taurus?
right? Black Taurus.
That's the bull.
Yeah, from Mexico.
Bullhead.
He can work.
Chris Bay, Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve is not it.
Crazy Steve's been with that company for a long time, man. Crazy Steve is actually legally blind, I think, in like one eye or something. Like,
really?
Yeah, he can work, man. Steve's very good.
He can work.
Crazy
Steve can work, man.
Cody Deaner.
Cody Deaner's cool. Jake something's cool.
The Desi Hit Squad.
The who?
The Desi Hit Squad.
Oh, what's the name? What's the man's name? He was battling for the X Division title as well. I can't think of his name. They've got talent in that mid card.
Gama Singh.
Exactly. They've got some hitters, but their main event scene is their main event scene is washed. Aside from
Heath. He's just calling himself Heath now.
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater.
Oh, he's not going to be in the main event picture.
Falaba. Eric Young.
Now you're just naming names.
Yeah, you just name them.
Matt, they follow one along. He tuned out like with Heath.
No bullshit.
Jake something.
Jake something's very good.
Josh Alexander, Johnny Swinger.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Either way,
watch the product every week to really know.
Well, I've watched. I've watched before, but I think the thing is again that main event scene is a couple of people. These guys and the dope women they take up the rest of the show, but they don't really intermingle at all. So maybe they need to open up to get that tax money, get your tax return back, and open it up. Somebody man got to get some money. Chris Bay's gonna be buying
for $1,400.
Chris, maybe it depends on the wrestler. I don't think that guy's gonna be main roster or on that note.
I think that's $2,000. I need 2 kids to get Mooth.
$51.
Give him a bottle of Mambo sauce.
on that note, one thing we like to do every week, especially with people who listening, but anybody who hasn't, we like to give flowers before people are gone, especially to Black folks. So, Emilio, Sparks, Mighty Vin, do you guys have a Black Wrestler of the week?
Of the week.
Ooh. That's a good question, huh?
Do you want WWE or do you just want
anywhere? If they Black and they wrestle, they could be your wrestler of the week.
I'm gonna say
motherfucker wrestling the monkey on his back.
I'm gonna say Mr. Darius Carter, who I've been seeing booking more dates now that things are starting to open up a little bit, being a little more safe. I know I think he just lost it. He may still have it though, but I know he was for a long time the local Warriors of Wrestling here in Staten Island champion, and also the Bree combination wrestling champion for a long time.
I hear that shit.
Yeah, and he's getting back out there, and I've always loved him. You don't really see a ton of people repping Darius Carter because honestly, I have talked to him about this. We've had him on. He doesn't do merch. That's part of his gimmick. Is he doesn't do merch. You want to see the product, you gotta go see it yourself. He is as he calls himself, wrestling's richest prize, and he does not look. He'll be the first one to tell you he doesn't look like a built wrestler.
He does not look like a built wrestler.
He does not. But when you see him work, he's got a really great missile drop kick. He'll put you in all sorts of classic holds. And he's got this like big Nick Bockwinkel energy.
He reminds me of Norman Smiley.
Huh?
yeah, I would say that.
That's funny.
That's not even
it's not a diss,
no.
No.
Yeah, no. Norman Smiley's great. You're not going to see him come out and do a big wiggle though, but
no, keep your wiggle to yourself.
But you will see him come out and do a lot of great holds, and you'll see Ilfan pop in and give a face.
This fucking man. Sparks, who you got?
I'm going AJ Gray.
There you go.
I'm going AJ Gray.
W.
That's all I'm going to say. If you like hard hitting, hardcore, he can do it all, man. If you like technical wrestling, he can do it. If you want us to go to the sky, he can do it. If you want him to watch a match where he will beat somebody's ass, he can do that as well. AJ is not afraid to use light tubes and barbed wire as well. He has one of the best lariats in professional wrestling right now, and I'm really excited to see what the collective does for the culture show down at WrestleMania weekend. So
shout out to Rich Homie Juice.
Facts.
Yes,
yeah.
Rich Homie Juice. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow.
Word.
And he's got merch. Buy his merch.
Buy the Rich Army Juice merch. Who you got, fam?
I'm gonna take my favorite pro wrestling couple of the moment. I'm gonna take Leon Ruff because he had a nice promo.
Bitches.
Outstanding. He had a nice promo this week. And his old lady to be just because I want her to ref the Sasha Bianca Belair match.
I like that. Put that in the air. Hopefully somebody hears that. I like that. Who you got, man?
Yo, Lee Moriarty.
Yes.
Internet wrestling.
Yeah, he just won the championship. Yeah, man. Very dope.
Shout out to him.
Tiger style.
Tiger. It all circles back to Staten Island and Eminem.
That's Wu-Tang. Don't get it twisted. Tiger Style was Wu-Tang.
That's what I said.
It has nothing to do with Eminem.
I said it circles back to Staten Island.
But then what does Eminem have to do with Staten Island, though?
Because the show has revolved around Staten Island.
As it always should, because Staten Island is the killer bees. We are the swarm, daddy.
Oh, all right.
Hey, did Ghostface, did Raekwon really shoot up Ghostface house?
That's a good question.
Look,
very good question.
He gonna say, "Let's do this off air." I know this motherfucker. Look.
Survey says, yeah, no.
Let's do this off air.
It was a Mac 10. He was on the driver's side.
Stupid. I'm gonna still have to go. Almighty Bobby Lashley is my Black Rasslin of the week. I don't care. He could beat Miz every week on Raw. I don't give a shit. Do it. Fucking do it. Nah, I'm with it. I don't know what the future is gonna hold for Bobby, but right now my champion is black and I'm enjoying it. Before we get out of here, again, it's funny talking about, like, we have a lot of podcasts on here. I know and Wrassle Rap has done the same thing, but these days, especially being years removed from when the podcast game for pro wrestling and in this convergence of pro wrestling and hip hop that Sparks and Kaz really kicked off, it's always dope to hear.
You're too kind, sir. Thank you for that.
I'm not. It's one of the things. It's like, every time we talk about how this has come to be, and it's not just us. Everybody always, gives props. It was Ernest Wilkins the other day on Twitter was talking about that era, not even of the show, just the era of Wrassle Rap on Twitter and all the crazy conversations and shit that was going down, in that time. People remember that shit, so it's really important. I think it's dope that you guys are still doing it, still getting the power bookings. For people who are listening and they're living under a rock and may not know who Wrassle Rap is, Sparks, Finn, let the people know what y'all do, where they can find y'all, social media, websites, all that stuff.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrassle Rap, WRASSLERAP. You can tweet me, Grammy Snap me at Emilio Sparks, EMILIOSPARKS. Mighty Vin has a Twitter at Mighty Vin. Mighty Vin has an Instagram at Vinforte NYC. And it's pretty much like this show. I think it's a lot different in regards to we are not black.
Nigga.
But we try to represent a culture that has been so important and embraced me and gave me an opportunity to shine and earn a living. So me and Vin take a huge responsibility in terms of trying to make sure that it all makes sense, you know what I mean, and there's proper representation within the program, and
trying not to be fake about it.
We don't want to fake the funk. That's the thing, and you know what I mean. We're always very conscious of that because it could go that way.
Of course,
So
we've heard. No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, we've all heard other podcasts where they try and be something that they're not, or like they try and represent like if I came out with Emilio every week, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you straight up. Like, no, that's not.
Yo.
Like, I'm not gonna do that.
I think I would like that shit. I would like
that's y'all pod. That's the Vinny and Math pod. Y'all can yo all day.
You can tell when it should be authentic, and you should tell when it's about more than just professional wrestling, and that there are social instances and situations you need to shed light on. Like, when the murder of George Floyd happened, it shouldn't have been me and Vin coming on and talking about the plight of the black man, because we don't understand that and we never will. Right. So that's why, you want to have on voices that can really make us understand and see and feel what it is and what it's about, and the importance of everything that goes on, systemic racism, injustice, everything, so on and so forth. So it's very, very important for us to teach ourselves, but also try to enrich other, people that listen that are not African-American, to come on and say, hey, no, this is what's really going on. So, really try to pay attention. But yeah, what Vin says is right. We feel like a really grave responsibility not to fake the funk. Like,
message.
We're really conscious of that. So we're really conscious of that.
But also, like, when we have on, people to talk about these issues, also recognizing that we're not just going okay, we're passing a baton off to a couple of black people this episode to talk about an issue that we also make it very.
We just did that with y'all.
Stupid.
Hey, Vin, the shit that I like, I'm gonna keep it real because me, Cal, and my cousin argue all the motherfucking time. Y'all motherfuckers argue and bring it right back. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know it's real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I like that shit. I'll just sit back and watch y'all motherfuckers argue and see it take a life of its own. Shit was dope.
Word.
Y'all come back and argue as much as y'all want.
Well, we have two distinct different tastes and two distinct different ways of the way we view the world. So it's that's why we butt heads sometimes. But it's
wonderful.
It's good shit.
It's real dope.
Me and Vin podcast coming next week.
Here, y'all. Who's producing it? It ain't you.
No, it's not me for sure.
Jesus,
I'm not producing shit.
No, but I think you're right though. I think that what me and Emilio have hopefully brought to the table in the past year or so since I've been on with him is that it is two different perspectives, but I think that we always try and bring it back to the fact that it's just wrestling,
right?
So,
like it's not. Let's say it's nothing serious. Like, there's nothing you can't talk about that like is gonna upset anyone.
Not fact.
There's nothing I can. Emilio knows there's nothing I can say to him that's going to that he's gonna take and be like, "Did Vin just tell me to go fuck myself?" Like, what?
That's dope, though. I never even. It is just fucking wrestling.
That's what it is at the end of the day. That's it. You
can't get that hype off that shit at all.
That might be the name of the episode.
It's just wrestling.
It's just wrestling. So not canned Shamrock. Damn. Next week.
Canned Shamrock is a porn. Is a name of a porn, yo.
Canned Shamrock.
Are you sure?
Shamrock.
Just in time for
pull it up. Let me leave first, and then you can pull it up.
Fam math. Where the hell?
Give
me the old Shamrock shake.
Whoa,
that's disgusting.
Whoa.
I'm out of here, man.
Hey, man. IlFam7 on your social media choice. More importantly, at Where's Buffy every single weekend. Where's Buffy?
I need my bad boy head too. At Math Damon on everything. That's important.
I think I'm
at Cal. There you go. Save that for that man. I'm at Cal on Twitter. At Black Rasslin on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BlackRasslin.com is the website. And as always, you can find the Black Rasslin Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you get podcasts, we're there. YouTube.com/C/Black Rasslin. You can find this episode and all the shit we've been doing since the fucking BRP 50 from 2020 is pretty much all there.
I'm running around Tampa in a month with the man with the long coochie hair.
On that note,
I'll show you my will, and you show me yours.
We gonna catch you next week.
He's gonna grow a beard that weekend. He's gonna grow a beard.
Fluff.
That's it. It's gonna happen. He's gonna grow a beard, and y'all are gonna come back and be like, Emilio brought him to the mountaintop. He grew a beard.
Damn, you better cut this before somebody.
Yo, you remember what movie was that when the lady took her and it was just like.
Debbie Does